Hello, this is the Historical Commission of Dudley. We're pleased to be here. Although you're watching this at some other ungodly time, for us it's the evening of May 9th. First order of business tonight, it's going to be a public hearing, a request for demolition on 2 Klondike Road. So we're going to invite our guests to the table. Hi, Patty.
Hi.
Oh, one guest is coming up.
Okay.
I don't blame him for hanging back anyway. All right, this is a demolition public hearing, and we're beginning what time?
6:35.
You're good. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk to you about what your plans are. And after we've had some give and take and that, we'll close the public hearing and then we'll go to a vote. Now, what you're looking for is a vote of non-significance for your structure. And I have my little cheat sheet up here for everybody to see. So significant structure criteria is going to be 4 things: either architectural, geographical, National Register, or historic importance. So we will chat about all of those when we do our final thing. So first things first, your name.
Susan Etheridge.
Okay, and you live in Florence,
I do.
Mass. So they had a little haul to get here
I
tonight. Do you stop at Coney Island and Worcester for dogs or
No,
something?
maybe next time.
Okay, you're looking for the property that had belonged to your parents.
That's right.
And is now yours. And it's 2 Klondike Road, which is really on Pierpont Pond for those who don't know what Klondike Road does. And she's a neighbor. I live across the pond from her. And I suppose I could step away from the vote. Not that that would make any difference. We aren't related to each other. And we haven't even known each other. And we've shared this pond for 60 years. That's kind of frightening, isn't it? But they never had a boat, a real boat. They had a rowboat. So, us skiers, we just went by you.
And I waved.
Anyway, good. All right, so tell us about your property.
So my parents built this little camp when I was 1 year old, so it is now...
You don't have to give your age.
Okay, so a
But
number of
6
decades
decades ago.
Right. And so it was the place, I grew up in Southbridge, so it was the place where our family lived every summer. And I have a sister, and we always enjoyed having family gatherings on every Sunday. And it was our little summer camp. My parents loved it, and they took very good care of it. My dad passed away this January, and my mom passed away in September 2015. And so I am very delighted to be able to continue the family legacy in this place.
Okay. And your plan is to remove this one and
build the same footprint. We've been to the Conservation Commission for review and approval of all our plans.
good.
So the same footprint, and just to bring it up with the foundation.
All right. Were any important people ever visited there? Did they stay over? Washington, Jefferson?
No, and my mother kept a guest book, so.
Did she?
I had discovered it, and I don't recall any famous names.
Okay. There were no exciting events from the town of Dudley that occurred there that are speakable?
No, just water skiers who.
And it wasn't a building I noticed that was designed by a world-famous architect.
No,
So,
my father's first cousin.
there you go. And
When was it built? In 1956.
See, people at home now are doing the math. So, and it wasn't geographical importance because I had to go find it, and I've lived on that lake for a long time. And you would never see it. It was just tucked in that corner. It's surprising to me, but it's a quintessential
Sounds very nice.
summer camp. And we have very few of them left there. So I hate to see them go, but having made one go myself. I understand the desire to have a nice functioning.
It's deteriorating, isn't it? Is that the
Yes,
the
yes,
problem?
the pillars are
Foundations.
rotting, you can see through the floors. I mean, my parents kept good care of it, but after a while, when they were ill, in the last
Yeah.
couple of years, you know.
I found that I believed the place that I had started in was built every year a little bit by a group of guys that got together and drank, and they all brought a couple of old boards, because nothing matched. Everything was uneven. It was just, it was what it was, but they were fun places. And nowadays, we have a certain expectation that's a little higher than that. All right, questions from the commission? Questions for us?
Thank you.
All right, and we have no other people, so we can close the public hearing.
Move to close at 6:41.
Okay. So I did go look at the building. It took me a while to find it. I went right by it first time. You'd never see it from the road, and even from the water. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it doesn't jump out at you, you know,
Mhm.
tucked in there. And it looks right, you know, it looks like it belongs in there.
It's right on the pond?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have found no history on it, no register, no criteria that.
I better
that
move
would
to
work.
close the public hearing on the table.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
Smack me when I do that. Don't you dare. Second.
Second,
Any
Richard.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we've closed it. I am now entertaining a motion.
Open.
I
Do we say
move
we
that-
would go left?
I move that the structure at
There
2
you
Klondike
go.
Road
Can't
be
breathe.
found without significance under the terms of the demolition delay bylaw.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
Now, what we will do is, Mike will get this paperwork signed off and back to the building inspector.
You had to remind me, didn't you?
I know you don't want to do that, but that's why I said that. He'll get that all squared away for you, so is Nelson taking it down, or is that somebody else coming?
Mr. Elliot Burlingame.
Elliot,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah.
When you're
From
in
Charlton.
the
Yeah,
Charlton
right.
people, you know, you get them all mixed up.
And we're the first house over the Charlton line.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah. yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, so they're gonna be right there, interested. Okay, they will have this drawn up for you, I'd say by,
A little bit like I'll have it over there tomorrow morning.
yeah.
Okay,
so-
great, thank you so much.
If he's anxious, you can push them late in the day, or wait till Thursday morning
Right.
and get them home. And it's a crummy time to take it down. There's no big wrecking ball ready to go.
No.
They're anxious, but nothing's sitting there at the moment.
And we've had these things go
Yeah.
for years before people have taken them down, so there's no big hurry.
Yeah, no, we're
Once you
eager.
got it,
No,
you're in
they
the
won't,
driver's
no.
seat.
Yeah, we're eager to move forward.
Yeah, and you're building stick built, not modular or
Not modular,
Stick
stick,
built.
yeah.
stick built? Good.
With the
All right.
foundation.
Well, have fun. Now wave at me when you.
We
when you
will.
We
ride.
will. We will.
If you get a boat ride, you can ask the Roses to take
Right.
you out for a
Oh, that's a
little
good
ride.
idea. Don't they have, I think they have a pontoon boat, so.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Tell them you need to go snooping.
I will, I will. Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
folks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Bye.
Have a
Good
safe
luck.
trip home.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the minutes of April. Very short minutes. I noticed I wasn't here, and you guys barely touched the place and disappeared, huh? Good. So I am entertaining a motion for minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the April 11th Historical Commission meeting.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion, changes, alterations? Hearing none, move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, minutes done. Financial update.
No update.
New
So it's the
update.
same as last month, except the date on the top is May.
Okay.
That's the only change.
You got Debbie's email a week and a half
I
ago?
don't know if I did get that.
Okay, well, they sent it to you, but whatever.
Well, was there, what was in the email? Was it a change in,
Oh, I just got one.
oh, just the update?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I have recently brought in the check from the Mauser Trust. So we're gonna have $1,600 roughly dollars, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So that'll add to it. All right, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? That would be Patty's chance to make a motion.
Make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report.
There you go. Second?
Second.
Dave? Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for that. All right, Mauser Grant Award. We did get the final piece of our town common project from the Mauser Grant. So roughly $1,600. And all the money now is in and available. And I even think the granite block might be already in this area, but I haven't talked to Mercer in a week. Now we just have to prep the location, and Ramco Construction is going to do that, and we will pour a base to hold that 2-ton bench, as we're calling it, and then we will go in and put all the pavers. I wanted to look at the pavers the other day. They are various sizes, 3.5, 4.5 inches, and various evennesses. Evennesses, that make that a word? Degrees of evenness. So it's going to be a rough-looking, natural rough granite patio, not one of those slick things that you buy in a store. And I'm hoping that I can get this thing, I'd love to have it done by the Strawberry Festival, but that's a tight window. But we'll try as best we can. I'll see how soon Ramco can get up there and start working for us.
He had a death in a family recently.
Yeah.
Are these pavers something people are going to trip on, or are the surfaces going to be set?
Well, we'll work to
Even the top
even the
down,
tops
yeah.
out, the bottoms, so it's going to be a lot of sand and pounding and whatever. They'll figure that out.
Yeah.
So is it gonna look like a flagstone, you think?
Yes, very much. But no colors, just, well, around, I shouldn't say there's a lot of color to those granite pieces. When you look at the wall that's left from the Stevens warehouse there, you see a lot of color in there. It's amazing. Before you just didn't notice it, but I looked in and I went, what's this one from? Where's that one? They were pretty rough stones to begin with, but I'm looking forward to it. I also met with Graphics Unlimited to start discussing the signage. It's going to be about roughly $300 per sign that we place there, and I think we've got enough. We've certainly got enough money for 2 signs. We may now have enough for 3. So more would be better, I think, than just 2 of them. Give you a chance to kind of get a north, a south, and east-west.
The end of the fiscal year is coming, so
Yeah.
this
So we'll
could
be
a
spinning out.
good opportunity.
It's going to be a little busy, the next 5 or 6 weeks. Hopefully we can get on that in the spring, and the ground can now be excavated without any problem. Any questions on Mauser Grant or the town common? we were pleased to get this grant. They have been so supportive of us in all our endeavors, so this was good for them, and we tried to make sure when we went to them that we didn't ask for a lot, but we got them to join in the participation of it. So oftentimes foundations like to come in at the end and just say, okay, they did their work, they got a lot of other stuff, and now we're willing to put them over the top, and that's what they did. So thank you, Now's Trust. No news on the district progress. The most recent stuff I had was maybe a month ago, where Boston was still awaiting the final, or not even the final, but the edited
Do you want to
version.
email Tim, or should I? Just to
Blast him again, yeah.
give him a goose.
I'll email him because you might go off on him. So,
All right.
They know we're pushing now, so hopefully it'll get moving. Scenic roads, they are on the warrant. They did make one change to our stuff. Because we had said Carter House to Route, what is that,
97?
197? And called it Center Road, but it's really, we had to define that from the Carter House to the corners, four corners is Dudley Oxford Road, so there's a little portion of Dudley Oxford, and then it's Central Road. But that was not a problem. I said, fine, go ahead. It is in the warrant, and we don't anticipate any problem at the town meeting.
When's the date of the town meeting?
Town meeting, I don't know.
In June?
No. Town meeting, Brian, you know the date? Okay.
26th, 24th?
It's the end of the month.
Of May?
May, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought it was in June.
No.
Elections in June.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know that
That's an old one. Ed.
we
They're
have
old
all the way
ones.
back to 2015 here because we're historic.
That's exactly.
They're not going to give us anything up to
neither
date.
us.
Yeah.
We'll just think, we can think we're younger than.
You know, I'm going to do everybody a service here and take these off because they're very disconcerting when you think this is.
Yeah, you thought you were going to use them and they're
I'm going to
not.
bring my own copies so that we are never without. Anything look good to you on your calendar for the end of the month? Pick a date. I think it's the end of May. I don't think-
It's May 24th,
That could be.
22nd? 22nd is a Monday.
Okay, we're gonna go with maybe that. But we will be there
I
and.
think that would be posted somewhere, right?
It is. It's probably right down the hall.
I haven't seen it anywhere.
I haven't seen it in read.
And, yeah, we don't have an electronic sign yet,
That's right.
and that's where we need it. So I'll call the fire chief and tell him to get it up on his,
Maybe his buddies at Nichols will give him one.
yeah. No, he's got one. Okay, trees. Anything happening on trees? Did you do anything without me last month? No.
They're blooming.
I've been looking. There are some enormous trees in this town,
Yes, there are.
and I'm really impressed. Just on girth, if we're gonna do, find the widest tree. And maybe we need to start doing it that way, just say, hey, we're interested in who can find the widest tree in town, and start. And then tallest, I don't know how you do that. There must be, can you get
There's some kind of formula that you stand X amount of feet away from the tree and
Right.
you measure the feet versus the rise and
It's a
run.
trick.
Yada, yada. Yeah, it's a magic trick.
Yeah, no, trigonometry.
There's a big oak tree on the Rattlesnake Road. It must go back to colonial times. It's so huge, but you could never apply that formula
Yeah.
because it's so overgrown.
Can you get to that tree? Or is it all bramble?
It's been 11 years since I've been there. I don't even remember where it is anymore. but
Call
I
me
know
up.
you
We'll
don't
go.
know what's
Depends
going
how badly you want to get to the tree.
on. I don't want to get that badly.
Well, we can come down through Tufts Branch and onto it, if we can't get down.
Hire a helicopter, we'll look for it.
Getting a little old for this stuff, huh? Well, we should think about this. We need to, we keep talking about our trees. We've got to do something. Anybody at home, you got a big fat tree, call me. We'll put it on the
Now,
Mediterranean diet.
Are we considering the trees at Nichols College?
Oh, yeah, they'd be copper beeches up there,
Yeah,
just stunning.
That and the...
But they're not as old as
Oh,
stuff that
I
we
know
could
they
find.
have some that are tagged up there, dated. I know
That doesn't mean anything, Pat. They just haven't decided to cut them down yet.
No, that'd be good about those. You're bad. All right. Future events for the town.
Yes.
Come on, I'm waiting for
All
you.
right, are you ready?
Plant sale, go.
Plant sale. Dudley Conservation Land Trust is having their 9th annual plant sale the weekend of May 20th and 21st. Both days are from 9 to 3 at Marty's Liquor's spacious parking lot. We will have a number of items, and they are including trees, rhubarb, and asparagus. We have heirloom tomatoes and multiple vegetables. We have herbs, perennials, and special perennials that are considered collector-type plants.
Really?
Yep. Annuals, geraniums, houseplants. We have hanging baskets, cemetery baskets, and then we have the garden shed, which is reusable garden items. We'll have raffles, and on the raffles we have a wonderful set of folding chairs that actually can come apart. They are amazing. They're a chair, not a lounge chair, but you could have them a garden chair or a patio chair. Really amazing, made by a local craftsman. And
Somebody close to you?
pardon me?
Somebody close to you?
Yes, not that close.
Oh.
We are also going to have the Massachusetts Master Gardeners to answer your gardening questions, and there will be honey there too for sale.
Great.
And that all takes place again on May 20th and 21st.
9 to 3.
9 to 3 both
Marty's.
days. Yeah.
Be there.
Attendance.
All right. Anything else? We don't need to talk about the Strawberry Festival yet because we're going to meet before that event, after a meeting that week, practically, I think. Preservation projects, nothing ongoing, but Mike and I have been working at the library on Wednesdays, and we're moving forward now with the librarian to talk about acquisitions and collections and access, so that if we have things we want people in town to get to, where they're going to be and how they become available to people.
Okay.
So we may even have something in the newspaper shortly about this project, and then asking people if they have things they think would work, just to vet them with us. And we just don't want a drop-off of, I got all this wonderful old stuff and it's 20 copies of Kennedy's assassination and 19 editions of the Webster Times on the flood of '55. We have all that stuff in spades. But we are interested in very local things, pictures in particular, that they can verify of a particular spot in Dudley at a time, something relatively old, that they're willing to go, like the farms. Buildings are easy, but also events that might have happened. There were some wonderful events up on Dudley Hill and other things that have gone on, and people have this hopefully somewhere and would say, oh, and even if we can get some that we can just scan. So if the picture is important enough to us, we'll scan it and return it.
Now, when you say an event, are you talking about an event that, like a town event, or are you talking about like a family reunion type event? What kind of?
An air raid drill,
Oh, that would be.
Yeah, World War II, yeah.
Yeah, World War II stuff,
Yeah.
aircraft
That's
spotters.
interesting, I never would have thought of that. That's a
But
good idea, Mike.
we could do a thing, if you've got a big family reunion that was held in the 50s
Yeah.
or something, and you can locate it and say, this is, or it's all Dudley people, you
Mhm.
know, mostly. That would be fine too.
Okay.
Because we'll just be archiving this stuff, and there'll be folders for them, so if we have families, structures, vistas, events, you know, whatever it is.
This plan is being talked about right now, it's not organized.
Not organized. We're gonna have something in the newspaper about our planning process.
You named the plan? I mean, have you named this project?
No, no, we're just,
Just one, yeah, I just,
and it works. We already have a collections policy, and we have a deed of gift policy, so all of that that's ready to go, but we're working with the library for them. They're gonna have to have some policies, and it's gonna take us a long time to get this done. But instead of waiting a long time, I'm concerned that somebody's cleaning out a house, and they just say, oh, I have all these pictures, you know, oh, it could have been like this couple here tonight, you know, and now they're moving into this place and saying, oh, I don't know what these were, and if they were important or not, so. We'll have a contact, so they would call me or something, they would say, what have you got? Okay, we'd like to see that.
Mhm. So there'll be a filter, it's not just like...
Filters.
Yeah.
We're not just gonna take anything and everything.
Yeah.
Because we'd be right where the Webster Dudley Historical Society is right now, trying to cull out all the stuff that, in a sense, sometimes is dumped on them and say, this is inappropriate, doesn't work in the town, it has interest to some people, but it's not a town-related
Mhm.
thing, so you're always trying to keep this stuff relevant. All right, any other questions on that? Other business not known at the time the agenda was posted. Let me talk about, tonight we had a demo request. Last night, was it just last night? The Board of Selectmen and I tuned in to see what was going on. We had a woman complaining that she didn't like the fact that she was being held up on her demo permit.
Ooh.
She's one of two being moved into June because the demo request came so late in the month that we couldn't process them and get them into the newspaper in time to meet this deadline. This was a very short month. This is the 9th. This is about as fast as you can get. And that's unusual. Now, next month is a very long month because we're going to go to the 13th or the 14th. So that's an extended period.
Mhm.
So it makes a difference when that date comes to us. So it's important for us to have a deadline, and we've never had a deadline. We've always just taken them as they came and lined them up. But we need a deadline that gives us enough time to operate. Because a request coming into the building inspector can be held for 5 days, and then it comes to us. So the date that it might be with the building inspector is not the date that we get it. And if we get it and it's late at the end of the week, it's not something we can act on immediately till at least Monday. And that's only if Michael's in town. If Michael's in town, I'm probably going to have to handle it. And I've never had to do that, Mike. I've been lucky. And it requires us to coordinate with the town clerk and do the various steps that we do. And all of that takes time. So I have established the date as the 20th of the month. If we can get the request in on the 20th of the month, that's enough time to make the worst case scenario, which would have been actually this month, because we're here at the 9th. It could be the 8th would be the shortest time period in a month. So you have 10 days and 8. It's like 18 days roughly. And we need at least 2 weeks to get everything in the papers and a week in advance of the meeting date. So I'm proposing, and I'll put this in, I can put this in the form of a motion,
Yeah, that would be helpful.
to have, to establish the 20th of the month, of any month, as the last date in the month that we would accept a permit request for the next meeting. Anything after the 20th is going to have to go to meetings. Do you,
I'm confused because I thought we already had a policy. We don't have an official date. Is that
No.
it on the policy?
Right. There's
Okay.
been no specific date.
Okay.
I mean, we say we need this amount of time to get this in,
Yeah.
and we look at it and we schedule. But now, I think we need to, I had a discussion with the town administrator today, and I said, what do we need? Will it be more helpful to have a specific date? So then, even the building department knows, oh, if they get something in on the 18th, they'll know that they really need to hustle it to us for the 20th, or it's not going to make it
You miss a whole
for the
month.
next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to get the thing published in the newspaper, in addition, 7 full days before the public hearing. And if it comes in too late, that's not possible. We got one that came in last Friday, and the earliest I could get it published in the newspaper was December 5th, which was certainly not 7 days before the 9th. So it wouldn't fly, we couldn't do it. So,
We had two
We scheduled
schedules the same day.
yeah, we had 2 of them scheduled that day too.
So, my motion is that we establish the 20th as the deadline date, and we will send a notice
Each month.
to the building inspector, and they'll know that's the date to work on. Now, on some months, because they're weird, there'll be plenty of time. On other months like this month, there wouldn't be any more time than necessary. So that's the best date that I could come up at, looking at a full year's calendar of time.
But that always means, Ed, like, this month, we have a holiday at the end of the month. Does that, just that one day doesn't do anything? It doesn't delay you that much or anything?
Now,
You know, like if you get the...
yeah, just a 3-day weekend or
No, it's not a
something
big deal.
isn't going to impact us. We're always the second Tuesday.
Yep.
And the publications that we're using are always at the end of the week. So if the Times comes out on Thursday, those dates are set. They don't get impacted by.
Yeah.
And it's not like we run a business and we're there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday or something, and it's going to be a holiday. It's just, it's a calendar day.
Yeah, okay. Now, when we put an article in the newspaper, we have to have it in the Friday before, because it's out on a Thursday.
We have to have it in an edition that will come to press 7 full days before the public hearing.
Right. But you usually have to have your things in by Monday. Monday noon.
Monday is the deadline for paper?
For the
Newspaper.
newspaper.
Okay,
I think that's the very final.
yeah, okay, because I know we work on it.
And our difficulty is, if we receive it Friday night, we can't get to that noon deadline because we're
Right.
now dependent on having the town clerk working with us to get the things typed up and all organized.
Okay,
And we can't guarantee that's going to happen on a Monday morning,
all right.
for whatever reason. And it could be a long weekend, or
Yeah.
other business takes precedence over what we're doing.
I see, okay.
And might not be available on a Monday. So we need a little time, flex time in there, because
Yeah.
we're a volunteer group, we're not a,
Yeah.
established business.
Mhm.
We need that time to get us there. So the 20th is the best date I can come up with. It doesn't promise outrageous things, and it doesn't put undue burden on us to get it when it has to be.
Okay.
All right, do I have a second on
I'll second.
that? All right, discussion, further discussion?
We discussed.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I will make sure we post this with,
You gonna take that over to the building department?
yeah, I'm gonna tell them. I'll type up something.
Okay.
And I'll also indicate to the BOS that this is another indicator, so that they know. All right. Before we get to, I have member concerns next.
I don't know if I'm supposed to make an announcement.
Boy.
I'm not going to be seeking a new term. This will finish off my third term, so
Oh,
I know you just said.
all right. So we'll have a vacancy.
Yes,
You'll
we will.
actually have 2 vacancies.
When is-
It's
when is-
like-
Oh, here we go.
I have a letter today that I'm putting in my...
You guys
Oh, boy.
bailing.
Well, I didn't have concerns, but now I do.
Okay, I
Oh,
made it public, so,
okay.
so did Chris, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there stole my thunder.
You know, I hate when they do this. But I know
Excuse
both
me.
of you have other things in your life, and you don't mind jumping ship on us. But we will call
You
you.
you were just
But you're
starting to
so
get into the
appreciative that we were
financial.
here, right?
Yes. What, Mike?
Chris was just starting to get into the financial report picture. He was
I know.
getting the hang of it.
Well, I'm ready to teach someone else, so whoever's ready to take over
All right.
the responsibilities. I have all the spreadsheets and
So
stuff.
that'll make McKenna permanent, that's for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if she'd like to do some treasury work. We'll get her busy already. All right, well, I hate to see this, but...
When are you guys
that's
leaving?
fine.
When is your appointment
I
up?
think in June we renew.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, so I don't think we'll be here next time, right, Chris?
Yeah, that's what my plan was.
Yeah,
But obviously, if you need something, I don't mind.
okay. Are you covering into the June meeting?
If you'd like me to, I can do that.
Let's do one more if you can.
Yeah.
All right, that'd be perfect. Same with you?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think,
You're done
I
June
think it's,
1?
I think this finishes it though. I mean, if you renew, I think you renew in June, like
Yeah,
I say,
right.
before the meeting, so. I'm done.
Okay. You're good. I'll announce it. And even if, we'll announce the two for the BOS and that we have vacancies. And Chris will just
Makes
show
sense
up
for
either-
June too, because then I can help whoever wants to take over the treasurer
that's
position.
what I
I
want.
can walk them through
Yeah.
it. So that's perfect.
Good. All right, well, hate to see that, guys, but I know. Time moves on, and we're still stuck here, right?
And this is your 100th year.
Getting close.
Seems like it sometimes.
Getting close, thank you very much. All right, any other member concerns? I hate to ask now. Thank you. All right, we can move on to guests, and we have some guests. Hello,
How do you do?
come on up.
We're the
Sign.
railers, which is the topic of your discussion
Right.
earlier.
Come to the table. Sign in.
So we're just here to observe. I mean, we were supposed to be at this meeting. We had our
We
paperwork
expected
in.
to be here.
Yes, we were supposed to be. Jen and the building department told our builder to have the paperwork in by the end of April. We did. Mr. Branoff picked it up according to the builder and Jen. He had it. I know he was at, I know he put this notice in for May 1st, so I know he could have put ours in so that we could have been here, but that didn't happen, and unfortunately now our builder was supposed to start this week, and now he's not going to start until the middle of June. We will basically be homeless for an extra 6 weeks, and Our camp that is on Hayden Pond was built in 1970. Dick Sear built it. My grandfather built the camp right next to that, my camp, in 1961. And I knew Dick Sear when he built the camp. I've spent my entire life on Hayden Pond, this little shack that we've owned for 25 years. We decided to tear it down and move for health reasons in the family. So we've gone through zoning, conservation, Board of Health, the building department, and we have met nothing but lovely, fabulous people. Everybody had the same goal that we did, to make sure that we were able to build our home on this pond, not pollute the pond. I love this town. My family's been here for over 100 years. And that's my only goal, is to now build on this pond, remove the shack that's been there since 1970. It's not historic. The Board of Selectmen agreed last night this is basically a rubber stamp issue. And they said that they agreed that when they have an issue like this that comes up, they will schedule a special meeting the following week so that they don't do harm to us. The reason the Historic Commission is in place is to make sure that something like the 1815 or 1805 house doesn't happen again. That is not the case. They agreed that is not the case. Everyone there agreed that's not the case here. And yet we have two individuals who decide that my life should be in their hands.
Wrong. Now, you're not going to come here.
Do not yell at me.
No, but you're not going to come here and tell us that we are personally doing something to you. Now, you went through a process with the building inspector's department. If they made a promise to you without involving us, we can't be held to that. We have a bylaw and we uphold it, and we don't care who the person comes in that's looking for something, they're going to be treated the same. And you're asking for a special dispensation, essentially.
No, I'm not. We asked
We
Mr.
filed our
Branagh
paperwork
if he
on
did his
Friday
job. If
This
Mr.
gentleman
Branagh
here-
did his
This
job,
gentleman here had it Friday.
he had it on
Okay.
Friday. If he did
He
his
admitted
job,
to
he
my-
would be heard
He admitted
today.
to my wife, he admitted to
I
my
didn't
wife.
admit anything to your
that
wife, sir.
He didn't have any interest
Okay.
in running around.
Like
in
a
order to
crazy
make-
person.
Like a crazy person.
That's what he told me.
That's exactly what he
At the
said.
Dudley Library
So that
last
we could get
Wednesday.
in the paper and be at this meeting.
He said,
Okay.
he told me that. My
And I-
father was sitting next
All right.
to me. He's
Take it down.
83.
Here, listen.
He's 83. I'll bring him in here.
We don't
He said
need
this
to
to
do
me.
that. Here's the deal. There's a process to go through.
Which we follow.
Which we
You-
followed.
Yes, but when you bring that paperwork in, as you heard us discussing here, we have our process to go through. It's our job. We have the responsibility vested by the town to inspect and review every structure. I don't care what you
And
call
you
it.
saw it. You told me you
And it
did
is
on
not a
Wednesday.
shack. It's a house on a lake.
Go look inside it.
I'm just telling
It's
you.
not even locked.
And we haven't even gotten to that point. I went by it, I saw it. I know what's sitting there, and I know what we see all the time. But you have been attempting through various means to work around this process.
No,
No,
we
that's
did.
not true.
We did.
You went to the selectmen and asked them to-
I've spoken
That's
to
because
Greg
of the behavior
of
of
this.
you two gentlemen.
Right, the
Oh,
way
yeah.
you treated
Here we
me on Wednesday was appalling. I sat at the Dudley Library with my 83-year-old father. He couldn't believe it. He could not believe the things you said to me.
You were not happy because you couldn't get.
Because he didn't
The
do his
date.
job. He didn't do his job.
He did his job.
He
Well,
didn't do his
you
job.
obviously have identified that you have an issue, because you've now decided that you're going to have
I have an issue so
Deadline.
that
a
the,
deadline so that,
yes,
okay,
so
you
it's
can operate on.
clear.
okay?
Because we know we have a time period to fit. And if we can't get this thing in the newspaper, you weren't the only people that are now pushed to June. There was another application. Both of
We
them
know
sent
that.
in.
I know.
I
We
think
know that
I-
because it was in the paper.
And are you actually gonna
and he
hear two
actually
on
had-
one day? You're gonna hear two on one day? He told me he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Which building is that flipping concern, ma'am?
12 West Main Street in Dudley,
Yeah, we put that in,
May 1st. The day you should have put mine in.
Well, that's when,
yeah,
They sent one back.
he would put it in on May 1st and it's scheduled for June 13th.
Right.
Whatever. The thing is, you also told me that you had no intentions of listening to more than one case or two cases at a hearing like this.
It wasn't
Anyway,
fair to expect us to do 3 at one time, but that's something, we don't even have to jump that bridge right now. If you listen for a moment, I'll read you part of section 12.04.00 subsection D, a part of it. The commission shall give written notice of the time and place of the hearing, not less than 7 days prior to the hearing, to the owner by certified mail and by posting and by publication once in a local newspaper.
I got the
We're
certified
aware.
letter. I
You
got
got the
it.
certified letter?
Yes, May 1st.
And we had to...
Had,
you can't
had you
explain it.
advertised,
it has to be advertised a specific time.
yes, we
You got a
understand that.
certified letter for the June meeting.
Of course we
Right,
did,
but
but
it
had
could have
had
been
had
tonight.
it been advertised on the
I
Monday in the
guess-
paper,
It would have,
been
yes.
sufficient for this meeting.
When
No.
we receive something late on a Friday, as I
It
explained
wasn't.
here,
My builder was here at 9 a.m.
it
it
doesn't
wasn't
matter
late.
when your builder is here with that department
He
filing
was
a
here
permit.
too.
He did not get this request till
Yes,
that
he did.
afternoon and cannot act on it until Monday. And then we can't even be assured it'll be in the paper.
We got it in the
You
paper
understand
for
what I
the
said?
May 5th Webster Times. The May 5th Webster Times
But I
is not
called,
7 days before May 9th.
but I called the Webster Times and they said their deadline is not at noon on Monday, it's at 5. Anyway, look, like,
Because it-
like,
But
Well, we're
what
here-
he's
we're
explained
here-
to you is, even if he got it in and asked for it and it was in May 5th, it's not the time period allowed for a public hearing. You need to have a 1-week period.
what's gonna happen to us in June if we wait until June, if a couple people are missing? Does this not meet
We
some
always
kind of
have
a
a quorum.
quorum?
We will have a quorum,
What is your quorum? How many?
4. And we always make sure we have a quorum. And I can say that's better than most committees and commissions in this town, because often you'd get here and they might say, well, we didn't get a quorum tonight.
We saw 5 selectmen and a town administrator last night, and all 5 agreed that common sense needs to be a piece of this. And it doesn't
Common
appear
sense.
that it is.
Yes, but you have to understand, we cannot, we may agree that this building will come down. I can't imagine it wouldn't. But that's not the issue. It has to have a public hearing. It must happen that way because of bylaws.
We had a public meeting for all the zoning changes. If anybody cared, don't you think they would have showed up then?
I don't know, and it doesn't matter. We are required, you're not hearing this, we are
We hear you.
required to
We heard
have,
5
Listen to
selectmen
me.
last night,
a
and they
public,
didn't say the same thing you're saying.
then go back to them
I
and,
will.
and try to do something else, because obviously you're not willing to hear what we're saying.
I think you're not willing to hear us. We are in.
We hear them, we hear 'em.
All right.
It's
we're
not going
done.
to go anywhere because
Right.
it is set for June, and we will see you in June. And I got to tell you, I was not pleased with the selectmen last night. They are not, the Historic Commission, they should not be discussing it without us in the room, and they shouldn't be making exceptions for anyone. We don't make exceptions for anyone.
Everybody in this town should be supporting everybody else in this town. And honestly, every board in this town has supported us. They have been behind us and supporting
But
us
you were in
100%,
time
except
for the
for you
meetings.
2 people. You're the only two people, the selectman, the administrator,
Calm down,
everybody
calm
else
down.
in this town wants us to have what we would like. I've lived here forever.
We would be delighted if it fit
You're
the
not delighted,
time.
you're happy to pull your power. That's
Goodbye.
what this is all about.
Goodbye.
Is there any reason why every building has to be looked at in this town?
It's required. It's the bylaw.
I
every
understand that,
structure.
but is there any, does it make any sense?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
that's what
Why?
everybody said
Yes,
last night.
because
Why?
if you don't have the thing viewed and determined whether it has value, significance to the town, it could disappear. And the town loses valuable assets, historical assets.
So, but what are the criteria for valuable?
These are the criteria: architectural, geographical, National Register, or historic. And that can only be determined at a public hearing and a
By
vote
whom?
by this commission.
Who
Period.
So you advertise for any Tom, Dick, and Harry to come in here and spout off about what they think is historical about my camp?
We
So
will
if somebody
listen.
comes in here and they said,
We would listen if somebody did.
That's a
That's what
public
we're here
hearing is
for.
for that. Chances of somebody showing up are remote. But everybody gets treated the same. So someone doesn't have a back door into saying, I want this gone and take it away. And then you can get up the next morning and say, what happened to that house? And they say, well, it wasn't old, or whatever. There is this thing in place to avoid that kind of damage to the town. And that's our job. This is what we swear that we're going to do.
I get that, okay, but, you know, I mean, common
It's okay
sense
for
says,
everybody but you.
huh?
It's
No,
okay for
sorry,
everybody
the
but
selectmen
you.
went by the
Common
camp.
sense says that, you know, some building that's been built within the last, pick a date, 30 years,
It doesn't-
25
right.
years?
What I'm saying to
okay,
you is
has
that-
no geographical or
Right.
significance.
Is
to
But
that-
there's only one way to determine that, and that's at a public hearing and then a vote of this commission, not the Board of Selectmen, not the chief of the fire department, not the building inspector. They're all outside of that. It has to come through this commission. And
So
we
do all
have
of
to
you
follow.
folks- Do all of you folks go see this? You're gonna all go visit my camp?
No, we can't. Not by bylaws. Only 3 people can go.
3
No.
people?
Not a quorum. Up to 1 short of a quorum can visit.
So three people will go visit my camp.
If we so determine.
And I've already been by it.
If you so
Right, So I'm
determine.
the selectman.
Yeah, and I know what's sitting there, and I know pretty much what the vote's gonna be. But we can't jump that point. We must have a public hearing, and it must be posted a specific number of days. And you're unwilling to understand that.
I
Now,
heard.
We
I
heard, the
you.
selectmen heard
Okay,
this,
Sharon.
the town administrator
Okay.
heard it.
We heard you, okay?
but you're not happy with that.
Why
should
would
we
we
be?
be? You don't understand what's happening to our lives.
Why?
You have absolutely
Okay,
no,
let me
and
ask
you
you-
don't
Against common
care.
Let me ask
And
you why
don't
you
care.
didn't apply for a demo permit earlier.
Because we were told we only had to have it in on Friday and he would do his
Ah.
job.
Okay.
We were told
Then
that.
that was wrong.
Let's go.
Thank you.
I gotta tell you, I get very annoyed with the good work that we do in this town, and then someone comes and tries to go around us. And this was pure and simple, another one of those.
Last Wednesday morning,
Mm.
this woman showed up with her father. She was just incredible. Would not have anything to do with what we were trying to tell her. The
Well, she
only
didn't
thing,
wanna
the
hear
only
tonight
thing that
about it.
mattered to her was she couldn't get us to make this go away.
Yeah. It boils me, as you can tell,
Yes, I
and I don't usually get
boiled.
ticked, but we have to go through all these hoops. We put our time in here as volunteers, and we adhere to that bylaw strictly to avoid any problems, and we've had a few crop up where people just want to get rid of their buildings.
They want it now.
And we've heard it before, and we go, no, no, and everybody's treated the same. but they want special consideration. They certainly figured out, you know, they had to go to other places and do other things, and they come to us last, and we're holding them up. And that's only because they didn't come to us first. And that's not on us, that's on their bad planning.
This strikes at the heart of what we're trying to do here. The process we have is imperfect at best, but at least will protect the integrity of it, and everybody will get a fair hearing. And you do get a fair hearing before this commission as long as I've been here. And I'm very proud of that fact. And to say, sure I make mistakes, but there was no way I could make a printed notice of public hearing published on May 5th into something that was going to be 7 days before May 9th. It just doesn't fly, it doesn't work. But they don't
When
want
a
to get
person
it.
wants to demolish their, or whatever's standing on their property, how do they find out the steps?
Well, they're gonna go to the building inspector.
And then he informs them of the steps of the procedure? Oh.
That's where they get their paperwork. Now, they've got to understand that, and that's what I'm thinking, they're not looking at the date. That's why I want a date for them to understand. If it's not in by the 20th of a month, we can't guarantee it. Now, it could come in the 23rd, and we may say, you know, next month it's later, you know, it's the 14th of the month or something,
Yeah.
and we have enough time, we can do that. But on this month, it would not have worked. 20th was the cutoff. It's the shortest potential because of the way the months are lined out. And it's just annoying to me that we get beat up because they were given information that's inaccurate. They didn't get that information from us. And I was not pleased with the selectmen, and I made that known to the administrator today, because they said, oh, this is a good family in town. All the families in town are good.
Who are they, Rayla?
Yeah, but I was annoyed about that, because then they're saying, oh, yeah, it's common sense. Yes, it's common sense, but there's a process. And they don't, the selectmen should have said, and I don't mind saying on television, that the Historic Commission's not here to defend itself, and that they're doing their jobs. So if they are saying this is that, then it is that. Otherwise, everybody's going to go to the selectmen and say, hey, you know me and I need this, and that's the last thing they want. So
If you circumvent the terms of this demolition delay bylaw when you contemplate demolishing your house, if you let one person get away with that, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the end of everything we're trying to do, because the integrity of the process is gone. They're just going to be going around it, going to the selectmen.
And 99% of what we do, we know, is non-significant. We've had a handful of significant properties. But it is important, because somebody could have, especially on a farm, a nice two-holer from the 1800s, and see that as, oh, we got this shack back here, and we don't want it, and we want to take it out. And we would say, okay, well, how many two-holers from the 1900s on a farm do we have in town? What can we do with you? You know, we would go into significance, and then work with them to move it, have somebody that would love it to have a two-holer, right? Come and take it
So-
away or whatever.
So
But
what was the purpose of all of this? They didn't demand a hearing tonight. They just came to town to beat us up on TV
last night or tonight?
tonight.
Tonight. They're trying to work this deal so that they don't have to come and wait till June, but it's not going to happen. It is what it is, and we are sticking by it. And
You know, we require everybody else in this place to stick by the terms of the demolition delay bylaw, except somebody who doesn't want to. Now, if we do that, we might as well shut the door and all go home.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
Okay, enough excitement for the night. I'll have to watch myself on TV. And I'll say, ooh, Ed, you were fired up. But it grinds me
See, he was
that all the time
running
and
around like a
effort,
crazy man.
the time and effort that we put into this.
Mike, we all agreed with that
Yeah, we didn't have a problem with that. I was there at the library at the end, and she just got up and left. She didn't want to hear it because it wasn't what she wanted to hear. She didn't want to hear what the process was. She just wanted to tell me about her family and everything, and that's all lovely, except it has no relevance to what we're doing. It's, when did you get this in, and when will we see it?
I understand Jen at the building clerk told them the same thing. And they left in a huff
I don't know.
because they weren't hearing what they wanted to hear.
Well,
They wanted a fix to be put in. Make this go away. I don't care how you do it.
make it go away. All right, I'm entertaining a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to
Wow.
adjourn.
Second.
7:06.
Favor? Gee, your last meeting and it was fun, huh?
Go out with a bang.
Too bad McKenna missed this one, too.
Keisha,
Yes.
you didn't help transporting anything?
Yes, oh.